So I wanted to talk about a subject that pretty much impacts all of us at some point in our lives. And the subject is employment, job security, stability. Some of us may run our own personal businesses, and some of us are working either as contractors or, maybe as a W 2 employee for a company. So only yesterday, I ended up finding out that this employer, not my employer, but I guess the employer that I was being contracted for past 5 years, right, that I was serving, no longer has any need for me or the other contractors, my team, specifically speaking. And just to give everybody a quick background, my skill sets revolve around Cisco voice. I have skill sets that I use to install, manage, deploy, configure, maintain all aspects of Cisco voice. And what that means is, you may have seen those fancy phones sitting in a company or, I don't know, let's say Costco or Walmart, those ones with super large displays. But those are utilized everywhere, right? It can be utilized in a commercial setting, in a government setting, in schools, wherever. So that's really my expertise. So I have been with my current employer for quite some time, but this place that I was contracted for, I had been pretty much employed at that place for 5 years. And suddenly, after deploying, configuring, maintaining this system, which is worth a lot of money, I mean, easily few millions, right? The amount of money that they invested. And the decision was made that, hey, within a year, we are no longer using Cisco Voice and we are embracing Microsoft. So, Microsoft also provides voice solutions now, which they did not have any experience, until a few years ago. So they're, I guess, a competitor now with Cisco. So, in short, the decision was made. The way the licensing, the cost structure works. They said, well, Microsoft has promised them it'll be cheaper. They have worked out the numbers. And since they also use Microsoft Office, for their day-to-day functions, such as, Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, and all these other apps that they use for their business, that it'll end up being cheaper, embracing the telephony bundled into all things Microsoft. So there was really no convincing them that, hey, are you sure about this? Or have you really looked at all the pros and cons and how things work? And they never bothered having actually a genuine discussion with either me, my team, or my company, which is fine. So what I'm trying to get at is, overnight, just kind of sleeping on it, on what was to come, the changes in life, I guess, in terms of where I will be working moving forward, instead of actually being really stressed about it, I simply accepted it. Someone told me a while ago, it's been a good 15 years, and this quote has always stuck with me. And this was that the only thing constant in life is change. Let me repeat that. The only thing constant in life is change. So embrace it, accept it. And once you embrace that and accept that truth about life, it makes things a lot simpler. And as long as you are prepared for the change, that's the key. You have to be prepared mentally and, skill sets wise. No one's gonna keep you employed if you don't have the skill sets to market yourself. Even if you own your own business, your business will never succeed if you're not able to entice the customer with a product that adds a value in their life or to their own business, right? So in this instance, this business that I am currently contractor for, this place that I was at for 5 years, I guess, and for whatever reason, I guess to them it did not make sense to hang on to Cisco Voice, which is fine. So one thing that I learned being a contractor and a consultant was to embrace the change. Specifically, as a consultant, that allowed me to just kind of jump around, either troubleshooting, configuring, deploying these systems, the Cisco Voice solutions, for multiple different customers. And that actually really just taught me not to get super attached to any customer. A lot of us tend to just kind of, get very complacent, very attached to the routine that a single place may provide. If someone has been employed, let's say for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years at a single company or even government job, right? And if they ever get, let's say, laid off or fired, hopefully not fired, but let's say laid off, they usually, I've seen, go through a deep emotional setback because they don't have any plan B, because they never imagined the need for plan B. And life is is full of curves. And you don't get to pick which curve you will be on or it'll suddenly show up in front of you. That decision is not up to you. That is a random event that is chosen by life. So, how do you prepare for it? You prepare by accepting that you are only human. While you might be very good at what you do in terms of your job, but in the end, you're just a human, an average human, just like all of us, that is susceptible to fluctuations in life, right? You're not special. We get taught, yes, you're special. No, you're not. Everybody. If everybody's special, then everybody's average. Again, if everybody is special, then you're just an average. So, in this instance, you prepare for yourself. The situation that I'm currently going to be coming up upon is one, make sure you have adequate savings in your bank, right? Two, make sure your finances, your expenditures, are in check, so your savings are not really drained until you find the next opportunity where you can start making same amount of money, maybe more. So until that time comes, make sure your finances are in check, right? There's no need to get 5 different memberships for Netflix. It's okay. It's okay if you were to just watch YouTube on TV. It's okay not to have Amazon Prime. Maybe it'll encourage you to not just keep ordering random shit off the internet, right? It's okay. So life will go on. 3, if let's say you're in a relationship, make sure your partner is also on the same page as you in terms of, mentally, that the change is coming, so that they are mentally and emotionally prepared for the changes. You may get rehired at some other place, but it may change your routine. You may have to drive further. You may have to work different hours. So change will happen. Nothing ever stays the same, right? And if you have kids, this could impact them also. If you have young ones, you may not be able to hang out as much, especially during initial rehiring, because you may have to perform at your finest to gain the trust. Not just the finest, but you genuinely may just have to put more hours to learn the new business, new processes, new personalities. So that takes time and effort, right? So you have to devote that time and energy to the new environment. And this could also impact your family, extended family, if you have grandparents or any loved ones that you guys take care of. But the last point I want to mention is make sure you are always on your peak health. This is one thing that everybody always should keep, even though I'm mentioning this as a last point, but it actually should be the first point. This is something that you always have control over. Always. Right? And by health, I'm not talking about situations where somebody may have, some really serious diseases such as cancer or such. So, but overall, if you have high blood pressure, if you're overweight, you know, overall general issues, make sure those are always kept in check, because the time will come where you will be called upon to put in more effort on your day-to-day routines than you may have needed for some time. A lot of people know how to figure out how to resolve a lot of issues at their current workplace because they may have been there for 6, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. So they pretty much know every darn issue that can possibly arise at that environment, and they know the answer to it. But the moment they have to step out of their comfort zone and try to figure out answers to a new environment, they'll crack. And that's something that you need to work on. If you know you don't have that kind of personality, how to figure stuff out, how to suck up with different personalities and new environments, then that's something that you should always work on, because you don't want to wait till the change comes in your life to start preparing, right? So just like you don't wait till your house catches fire to make sure you have a home insurance, right? So this is the insurance on yourself, mental insurance that you're working on all the time, right? The benefit is strictly to you. So, in short, things happen, it's all good, life goes on, and this is a quick video I wanted to just kind of create about this. Also, I do want to add before I end the video is the biggest growth that has happened for me personally has always been when the things that around me have dramatically changed, because that's where I have been pushed to my limits, whether it's physically, emotionally, or spiritually, because that's where I have to figure out how to adapt and survive. Not just survive, but to thrive. How to thrive, anybody can survive, but you want to thrive to enjoy life. And what that requires is me constantly putting effort into personal growth. So the company that I'm actually employed with as a consultant, I don't know, let's say in past good 8 years or so, I have probably been asked and went to consult, work for as a contractor for, I don't know, between 20 to 30 different customers. And that's a lot, right? So think about that. I go in, I may work for 4 months, 3 months, 5 months, right? It's a nice setting. I resolve the issues or install new things. It's working, it's all rosy, and it's nice, right? It's comfy. Sometimes you don't want to leave the environment because people are nice, right? At other places, people are not so nice, or the environment is not so great. It's a struggle, it's a chore, but what it taught me mentally was to never forget that the good times can end and will end, and be prepared for the change. And that was a huge benefit. It always kind of, you know, made me aware, right? I don't want to sound like it made me always under stress, but actually it was always a unique sense of awareness that yes, things can change, right? And that's in hindsight now, looking at it, I think that's a great way to look on life in general, right? So it doesn't scare me if I have to go to different job sites, if that even requires travel, right? Out of state or out of country, it doesn't bother me. If I have to work at nights, all nights, it's okay. And in a very good way, it actually has freed me mentally, because that fear has gone out of me. In case anybody can relate to this, please comment. I would love to hear anybody's thoughts on this. And in case anybody is not able to fully relate to this, meaning if change does scare them, makes them nervous emotionally, if there was a change in your job situation tomorrow, knowing that the economy is not doing so great, will that make you even more nervous? Will you have a breakdown? I would love to hear that too. So anyhow, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy.